So what are we looking for again?
Some of the other cooking videos, just like how they use the soundtrack to it, like real. It's kind of in the background, but it kind of gives it that chill feel.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, this is not gonna be playing just our voices. There's gonna be background music in here.
And you have to have everything in its place, everything ready. To begin, you need a nice peeler. This is about like a razor.
I mean, he's making fucking mashed potatoes, right? It's probably one of the most dumbest things you could watch, but the music kind of gives it like a real chill feel, right? Now listen to this shit.
Easiest way to peel the potatoes. This. And what I like to do is I like to use a towel or paper towel or anything because then I can pick it up and move. Not much of a...
I kind of wonder, like, can you strip down the beat and then see what happens?
You can play around with it. I'll give you another example, okay? I think she did the reverse here.
Oh, I've seen that video.
Yeah?
It's with a couple, right?
Yeah. The music. That's what I'm trying to show. Again, it's about fucking steak. But the music kind of makes it. Right?
Yeah.
For dinner, and steaks from Costco.
I was just watching it last night, man.
Huh?
Yeah.
Feel
I'm
alone?
going to do something different today. Normally, I would sear the meat on the stove top.
So when you cook, you probably want to have all your shit ready. It's called mise en place. So instead of scrambling your shit last minute, you kind of have it ready, diced up. So when it comes time to integrate, put it together, just throw it in. So twice baked potato today. Potatoes are cooking right now in the oven, 400 degrees, about an hour. Put olive oil on it, some sea salt, and once it's done, we're gonna cut it in half, scoop it out. We're gonna put some chives, sour cream, butter, salt, pepper, and then we're gonna have some bacon. So we're gonna do the bacon right now. Pan's right now heating up, so we're gonna throw it into a pretty hot pan, and then that should take about 5-10 minutes. Once that's done, take the potatoes out and finish it up. Let it sit. It's gonna be on medium for a bit. Just let it sit, brown up, try to get crispy. It's pretty caramelized, and that's what we want, right? Any kind of protein, try to get some browning on it. Gets the flavor out. So in this case, I think we're good to go. Turn it off. So this is applewood smoked bacon I just got from Crystal Farms. I mean, you can use anything. It doesn't really matter.
Those are huge.
What she said. Let them cool down a little bit so we don't burn the shit out of our hands. But, basically cut in half and scoop it out. Not too much. Want to let a little bit of the layers in there so they don't collapse. Mix with some cheese, sour cream, butter, season, salt, pepper, and half chives. I think that kind of brings out the flavor. And then put it back in on real high heat, let it caramelize. But we're all gonna finish at the same time, so we might start the steak momentarily. But yeah, hopefully this will all finish at the same time as it's resting, the meat's resting, and then we can eat one plate of
That's great. Is there bacon in here? There you go.
So
that's delicious.
I gotta show you another recipe. We'll do that with fucking Sam next time, but iron skillet. I normally don't like using this, but you know, for today.
Why is that?
It's fucking heavy as shit. It's hard to maneuver, but you're gonna want to get this. Get it on as high as you fucking can. We're gonna leave it for a few minutes. We'll get as high as we possibly can. Right here. Bang, bang, bang. So so this is the start of the show. Quality steak's important. I didn't go all out, didn't get dry aged, but this is ribeye. Ribeye tends to have good fat ratio to meat. So try to sear it. So try to get some of the moisture off. I like to pat it down a little bit. So when it hits that hot pan, it's still going on right now. It's gonna sear pretty quickly, caramelize. Next star of the show, kosher salt. You gotta have that. Don't use that table salt.
What's the difference?
The difference is basically the taste, bigger granules. So I like it. Kind of gives I feel like better brings the flavor out a little bit more. So get some here. Kind of start high. Make a little bit.
Make it rain.
Be pretty liberal, cause some of that will fall off the into the pan. And do this right before you put it on. If you put it on like a good half hour before, it'll draw out the moisture. So you want it to kind of be at the very end, right before you go. And it's you don't want to underseason if possible. You don't want to do too much. So I would err on the side of too much though, just because you don't want it to be underseasoned. The salt really kind of makes it. So plenty of kosher salt, fresh cracked brown pepper. Be liberal with that too.
Did somebody say crack?
I think you did, son. Repeat.
These are huge, man. Everything in his house is huge.
That's what she said. Okay. Start up high. The higher you go, the more evenly it kind of disperses. So you don't want a big old clump of salt on one side. And for all the residual salt, I'll show you what to do with that in a little bit. For cooking steak on high heat, you want something neutral. Peanut oil kind of does that. You don't want to use olive oil. High heat changes the flavor. So, something like that. If you don't have, who gives a fuck? Just use canola, whatever's lying around. The residual salt, lay it on the sides. It's ready to go. Place down away from you. And that's what you should hear. You should hear a nice sizzle. Make the temperatures right. Don't be afraid of high heat. Leave it on. It's really hard to burn. There's a lot of water in there, so just leave it on. You want to get a nice deep caramelization. So leave it alone for a bit. Butter based, rosemary, thyme. Usually just use thyme. I think that's the classical way to do it. You don't want to overpower the flavor, let the meat flavor come out. Since it's special, because Joe's here, we're gonna rosemary in there, alright? I love garlic. That's the next piece. Since it's high heat, we want to protect it. We don't want it to burn too quickly, so we're just gonna keep it on the skin. We're not gonna dice it or mince it. Just crush it real good. Let the oils come out. I'm gonna throw that in the pan with this guy. Take a peek. Nice caramelization happening. Leave it a little bit more. Get that nice crust. Check out our potatoes, looking pretty good. Point, I think we're ready to turn it over. So again, same thing. One thing you'll notice, pretty thick steak. Not really thick, but it's thicker than like the stuff you'll find at Ralph's. That's what you want. You want to be able to leave it on long enough so you can get that crust. If it's too thin, it'll cook through right away. Then you have cardboard, so try to get something a little more thicker. Put that shit on there. Make sure the caramelization's even. At this point, you want to kind of scoop out the potatoes from double baked mashed potatoes. Yeah, you try to leave a little kind of thin layer so it doesn't collapse, because we're going to put it right back in after we mix up the goodies. So I just kind of dig in a little bit away from the wall. Looking good so far. Then let's sit for a little bit more though. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Nice deep caramelization on both sides. I like to kind of hit up the sides. Still cooking pretty good. One thing to keep in mind is, you see how squishy that is? It's pretty rare in the middle. I like a medium rare. So, you make an okay sign. I believe that's rare. It's pretty squishy. Middle finger is about medium rare. Fourth finger, ring finger is about medium. And this is kind of basically going to medium well. You don't want this. Depending on who's coming over, you might want this, but probably not. I like to go medium rare. So one thing to do, sear the sides. This side has the fat on, the one that's on the pan right now. So I like to kind of draw out some of the flavor, the fat, caramelize that. So don't be afraid of heat. You know, kind of leave it on. Let that caramelization happen. And you can see how hot this is. I haven't turned it down from high. This has been going on high, so you can see how brown it is now. A lot of the flavor's coming out. One thing to note is because that peanut oil has a high smoke point, we have this flexibility. This gives us the room to keep that heat at real high temperatures. I think most people have kitchens, that aren't industrial, so you can only get the heat so high. So you gotta really be aggressive. So we want that kind of color on all sides. Alright. See that fat? Alright, so we're almost done. Finish out butter basting. Turn it down a little bit. All that flavor's gonna melt. Stuff basting.
Tastes so good.
A little bit of that, of the garlic up there. Both sides. Take off the heat a little bit. Let it sit.
While I was cooking, let me just talk quickly to the hamster over here. It's my pet hamster too, baby. Oh, hello, Miss Hamster. Where are you at? Where's she hiding? Is she in here? Ooh. Mrs. Hamster. Oh, she's hiding somewhere. She's camera shy.
Alright, so if you look at it, my boy Craig was saying I'm finger fucking this shit, but It's pretty rare. But the next part is we let it rest. That's just as important as cooking it. You probably want it to rest about the same amount of time as you actually cook it. So I don't know, what do you say? That was about 5-10 minutes. So we'll leave it for about closer to 10. The heat's gonna keep cooking it, and it's gonna turn that rare into medium rare. In the meantime, we'll work on the twice baked potato. I think the key to a good mashed potato or baked potato is butter. So that's the whole stick of butter. No questions asked, just straight in. And I don't really use a masher. I like to use a fork. I don't like it too smooth. I'll bury it underneath the hot potato. You know, Joe's here, so we're going all out today. So a little bit of cheddar jack.
So Al, do you do this on a daily?
Okay, we'll talk more about that, but at least weekly. I try to do that every other day, just cause man, sometimes it takes a while. A lot of this is kind of extravagant, but honestly, if you just do the steak, so let's talk about the steak a little bit. We kind of went all out because Joe Bailan is here, right? But honestly,
No, it's a Memorial Day.
so all you need really is steak, kosher salt, black pepper, and if you want to go all out, you can use the butter basting, but you could stop there. That should take you maybe 15 minutes to cook. Anybody can do that on any given night. You know, you're coming home after 4 or 5, from the 110, wherever you come from. You don't need that much time. One of the key things is you just want good seasoning, and try to leave that meat out, you know, to comfortable temperature if you can. But, you know, you don't have to be picky. You don't have to be like professional chefs or anything to make good food. And that's the whole point of this, is anybody can do this. If a dumbass like me can do this, you damn sure can do it. So, you know, come home. You don't have to go out and pay money to someone else to make food that might be half as good as this. So, you know, it just takes a little bit of effort. And you can do that at the end of the week. Go get your steaks. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be dry aged. You know, you might want to lean towards marbling, right? Get a good fat content. That'll help the taste. But you don't have to have fancy, you know, cooking utensils or whatever. This is pretty straightforward. I dolled it up a little bit because my boy Joe's here. But other than that, yeah, man, anybody can do this.